everyone, Rascal here.
And Mama, welcome to our podcast.
Today we're looking at a more obscure anime this time, titled The Case Files of Jeweler Richard.
Yes, and I'm so happy we got to see this anime as we started reading from the manga, and I knew it just had to be really interesting. Now, this anime follows written-born Richard as he sets up a jewelry shop in Japan with the help of Siegi, someone he meets before he opens the shop, and he helps him help customers, a lot of help going on here, with connections to certain jewels each episode. For every gem has a story. It's like a jewelry advertisement.
And before we start, be sure to like, subscribe, and notification alerts on future podcasts and Lola Pause videos.
Absolutely. And thank you for listening and watching. We appreciate your support, and we appreciate you helping us to keep doing what we love to do. I want to start this off with, this is a slice of life anime.
Yeah.
For people who really don't care for slice of life anime that's calming and just written with interesting stories, this may not be the anime for you. I myself love slice of life animes, so it was perfect.
Right. And we found about this anime because I actually originally picked up a manga adaptation from the library. It seemed to be one of their newest entries. So I picked it up as, oh, this looks interesting, and I got it. And then found it was actually a light novel first. Then they did, I believe, an anime, and then they did a manga like Toradora. And they seem to do manga adaptations after the animes have ended. So we ended up reading the manga first, and then
I went and checked on Crunchyroll and went, this has got to be somewhere. We checked on YouTube, it wasn't there. And one day I said, I'm going to check Crunchyroll. And lo and behold, it is on Crunchyroll to watch.
Yes.
It's only 12 episodes. I wish it were longer. And I personally thought it was fun, interesting, and very calming. I really loved the similarity it had to Blue Period, where when you read the manga and watched the anime, you learned more about art and appreciating art. And this anime and manga is the same way. You learn more about the business of jewelry. You learn about gemstones and things there's no way a layperson would know or understand about them. And it's brilliantly interwoven into each episode. And you learn about a gem, and the gem you're going to learn about is in the title of the episode. And then, as you mentioned, they help clients who come in and have problems. And every client has a problem.
Yeah, literally.
And Richard always ends up letting you know how the jewelry is, the gemstone connects to the person that's in the shop. And it's just brilliantly done. Yeah. Siegi is kind of like he's not comic relief. He's like his jewelry wingman.
Yeah.
Who is able to relate to every customer that comes in. He has a commoner's touch in terms of he's like, just the man on the street who can relate to everyone who comes in, no matter their status or stature in, I guess, in the community or the wealth that they have. He somehow manages to relate and interact to every single one of them.
Right. And as it goes on, more is revealed about Richard and Siegi and the different customers that come in.
One of the most important things that we need to point out that we haven't mentioned is the very base of this story is Richard is beautiful. He's beautiful to everyone he meets and sees. He doesn't like that that's the first thing people mention when they meet him, because there's more to him. And it's not an old boo-hoo, he's complaining he's got it made, which actually is brought up by one of the customers. But I like how they brilliantly, in the beginning, all you do is look at how beautiful he is and think about that. But by the end, you kind of forget about it.
Yes, that's true. And one thing that we must also point out is that we have not finished reading the manga yet. It's coming out a little slowly as they're adapting the light novel.
Like Nozaki.
Right. And what we were watching, they seem to have skipped a lot of what we've read. Like, they mentioned like maybe a little bit of the first book or two. And after that, they get to things that we had not seen in the book. And we do not know if they're just jumping further ahead in the story and adapting things that connect to a plot, or did they abridge it, or did they make up an anime only ending and a backstory like they've done for Oran?
And there were even parts that we knew were in there that were totally left out of the anime.
Yes. So we're not sure if this is an abridged version of the story and it's canon, or this is an anime only story. So you can tell us if you've read either the light novel or the manga all the way through.
Also, we want to mention that the relationship between them is kind of not fully revealed. So it's kind of like it's left to you to decide at the end how you see it.
Right.
Although there are different things that are revealed during the story that let you know where Richard stands and where Siegi stands, but by the end you're not quite sure. So you'll just have to watch it to find out. We won't spoil or ruin any of that.
Right. It's almost a little bit like Tiger and Bunny, where it's written to be interpreted as either way. And however you see it can be correct, and there's no debating or anything. It's like, okay, you see it that way, then okay, that's how it is, and both sides are correct.
So the two of these gentlemen come together because Richard, as we mentioned, he's new, opening a jewelry shop, and while he's traveling, someone attempts to rob him. Siegi helps him, actually saves him, and that's when he offers him the job, and he wants to know why, and he says because you're honest and you're trustworthy. We find out Siegi means hero of justice, and it fits him, and you learn more and more about him as the story unfolds, and then he has a jewel, coincidentally, that's in his possession he wants to know more about, and then that's how the story really gets started and gets flowing.
Right.
I personally, again, love learning about the details and backstories of so many gems I have no idea about. I learned the difference between diamonds and other gems, why gems are valued and only diamonds are appraised, and I was like, oh my gosh. And if you're someone who's really into jewels and jewelry, or you have a lot, you probably already know these things, but for those who don't, this is really like a very fun, laid-back education in jewels.
Yeah,
and you'll really love it. And the jewels they have depicted in the anime are absolutely beautiful. The colors are sparkling, and they explain the different grades and everything, and it's not boring. And I know from what I'm saying, it's like, oh gosh, but if you've seen Blue Period, you'll understand how they interweave or interwove, whichever is correct, the details of the topic into the story where it's not boring at all.
Right. And
it's interwoven. There we go.
Right. And another thing that's brought up a couple times in here is more in the manga, but in here they bring out don't let appearances fool you, or surface level things get in the way, don't be prejudiced or leave people out. Everyone is welcome at his shop and everyone gets help. Everyone's kind of like not happy when they come in, but they leave in a different place and probably a better place. And they also point out a line here that they know immediately by looking at him he's not from Japan, but
his Japanese is perfect.
Right, and it surprises them. They think, well, they have to speak to him in English, but he speaks Japanese so well, they're shocked they don't have to switch to English for him, and that kind of stays like that most of the show. Even when they go to Britain, they kind of stay in Japanese to keep the flow and make it easier, but they chose voice actors that could actually speak English fluently, so that's why there is no English dub, because if they did, then it wouldn't really make sense when you hear it constantly switch. So they kind of stay all Japanese, but the cast can speak English.
Which is also brilliant. Personally, we've never seen this before. If you have, let us know in the comments where it's imperative the story stays in Japanese to convey everything that needs to be conveyed.
Actually, it's kind of like Kabuki-Boo, where that's why there was never a dub.
That's true.
Yeah,
so it's the second one we've seen like that.
Yeah, like it has to stay like this, or else it's not going to come through like it's supposed to.
The animation is good. Sometimes the way the characters stand is kind of odd, but it's very pretty to look at. The animation colors, again, the gems are beautiful to look at. The voice actors are great. Everything that needs to be conveyed is conveyed. The story is interesting. The knowledge you obtain by watching this like you would any other anime is great, you're gonna remember it like I do. It's like, wow, I remember all this stuff. This is fun.
Mm-hmm.
The only thing I would have to say is the opening and the endings aren't exciting. They don't make you excited
They're
for
kind
it.
of meh.
They're just really, it's just really slice of life. So don't go by those, whether or not you should watch it.
Right.
Watch the anime itself. We guarantee you won't be disappointed. Last thing for me is if you're someone who always has to have action and action and action, this would not be the anime for you. We get action the last 2 episodes, but the rest of it, we don't. So if this is not if you got to have action all the way, you're not interested in learning something you don't know, seeing characters that you can relate to, that are real, interesting, and then you've got, excitement the last couple episodes that rounded out beautifully, then this probably, honestly, is not the anime for you. But if you're open to seeing something different, new, slice of life, learning something different, seeing interesting characters, not knowing at the end what's going on, how you should look at it, but getting a happy ending nevertheless.
Yeah.
Then this is for you.
Right. And there was no second season. There wasn't any rumors of a season 2 or anything. It seems like it just kind of stops at this point. People would
Probably because I'm thinking the manga's not finished.
Right, and we don't know if the light novel's done either, or are they just kind of doing both at the same time.
Mm-hmm.
Seems like the anime just kind of stopped either at one point in the story of its canon, or just made up an ending so it has a conclusion and not have to wait for popularity or other chapters to come up.
2 things, last things I need to point out. Richard in here is snarky. He's like Snivy from Pokemon.
Okay.
And he has attitude, and when he blows up, you don't see it, you just hear it, and he comes out calm again. And Siegi is the opposite. He's, I don't know, the way I describe him is like a loyal puppy. And I mean that in a good way.
Mm-hmm.
He's very sweet, he's very honest, helpful, wants to do the right thing, really working hard, and Richard can depend on him to be honest and not take anything, be kind to the customers, and just be himself.
Right.
And I want to mention that because they're the opposites of each other.
Right.
Like in a lot of anime. So again, it's not boring. Their dynamic is interesting. The relationship they build as they go along is interesting. How they learn each other's idiosyncrasies, personalities, all of it is interesting in the context of the anime.
Right.
So I just wanted to mention that as well.
Right.
So if you've seen the case files of Julie Rashad, let us know what you think in the comments below. Did you love it? Do you hate it? Let us know what you really think. If you haven't seen it, it's available on Crunchyroll to watch in full. Give it a watch. Come back and let us know what you think. Sylveon, we think you would love it.
Yes. And if you haven't already, subscribe for updates and weekly videos on your favorite anime series, anime shows, and all things animation.
Absolutely.
And anime.
Yes. And thank you so much for your support, for watching, listening to our podcast. We appreciate you so much. And if you want us to check out your channel, leave the name in the comments below. Leave a link. Click on it. Check it out. Subscribe and take a look at some of the videos you have as well.
Yes. So, thank you so much for watching. I'm Rascal Entertainment.
And Mom Entertainment.
Have a fantastic day.
Peace.